is in the way, but I'm going to learn how to get better at doing these presentations. But we're going to go over this curriculum here. And it's all about just creating a new paradigm for your life, a holistic lifestyle makeover for those on the awakening journey. Maybe you've noticed that, you know, your awakening journey has shifted your vibration, shifted how you function in life. It can be confusing. It can be, you can feel lost and even stuck because you're not quite sure how to live your life in this kind of new paradigm. So we're going to go over all of that today in this 45-minute presentation. And it's all about looking at these 5 points of transformation. You're going to go into 5 areas of being a human being on the awakening journey. So, yeah, it's going to be a good presentation. Let's see if we can just get a few more people here before I start. Oh, it looks like I am spilling my shake everywhere. So one of the things that definitely shifts during the awakening journey is how you eat and what you put in your body. And so shakes are one of my go-tos because it's just a lot easier to get the nutrients I require and the cleanness of the food. So, and what am I taking here? I am taking vitamin D, fish oil, and I am taking some Ayurvedic herbs. So that's what I'm doing here. Cheers. That's good. I have a vegan chocolate raspberry truffle shake here. This is an Arbonne shake mixed with a collagen shake. And I also use Orgain too as well. I like all those shakes. How are you doing today? I'm doing great, thanks. Cheers. So we're going to be talking about kind of doing a makeover for our lives, for those of us on the awakening journey. Cheers. The awakening journey can make our lives feel like they're outdated. Like, how I can't be living this anymore. What do I do? Feeling lost and frustrated, confused. The awakening journey raises our vibration, and then we function. We definitely function differently when we live from a higher vibration. So how do we upgrade our life and our lifestyle habits? So that's what we're talking about today. I got this board to kind of keep me on track. I'm sorry I can't get it to the point where you guys can see it too well, but we'll get there. All right. All right. Well, I'm just going to take one more sip and then we'll get started. Thanks for tuning in. Just trying to get some more people here before I start going over the content, because I don't want to anyone to kind of miss out. Okay, we're talking about a holistic makeover for people on the awakening journey. So if you've noticed that all of a sudden the paradigm you're living seems really like off, like you just almost like can't seem to fit into your life anymore. That's happened several times to me, and it'll just keep happening as the awakening journey and your ascension process happens. You'll just feel outdated and you'll have to upgrade your life. So I'm hoping today can really help you with that makeover, with just some ideas about how to move forward in your life. So that's my boards here. I'm going to try to stay on track here. Basically, what happens is we have to really practice the law of subtraction, which is releasing the density out of our lives, right? When we're creating a new paradigm in our lives and we want to sustain our high frequency, we have to subtract the density and the stuff that doesn't match that frequency anymore. It's kind of just logical. So what we're doing is we're going to work all these 5 areas of transformation to decrease density. A lot of people on the awakening journey and the spiritual awakening path only work the spiritual level. And in my yoga therapy training, we were taught to work all 5 levels. Well, what are the 5 levels? The 5 levels are the physical body, the energetic body, the mental emotional body, the intuitive body, and the spiritual body. A lot of highly spiritual people just kind of go here, the spiritual level. They do a lot of meditation and they let that do all the work. But a lot of gurus and highly spiritual people have gotten sick. You know, they have diabetes issues, they're overweight, or they so they have a lot of physical issues because they're not playing in all the realms. So what's happening here on the planet is, and Carolyn Miss is a great resource to go to as talking about the modern mystic, is that in this ascension journey that we're on in this time frame, is that we're taking our ascension energies and we're putting them into the body. In the past, it was about like ascending out of the body, and a lot of the gurus and stuff would just they would start to leave their bodies once they got to a high frequency, and you know, their bodies weren't needed. But what we're doing is taking that high level of ascension energy, master level energy, and we're going to bring it into the body. So we have to train and we have to attune the body to these high frequencies, which means we really, really have to clean up how we work with the body. In the past, ascending didn't really include the body. So now we're including the body, and we've really got to take care of the body. So we have to work with all areas, all these 5 points of transformation. We have to work in all areas. And we're going to do that through the law of subtraction. So a lot of what I'm going to talk about, ways to unblock these 5 areas, ways to release resistance, ways to shift. All these lifestyle things I'm going to talk about here are going to help you sustain your high frequency. Not only spiritually, but also physically. And that's what's super important these days in the awakening journey in 2022. And you may have your higher self really whispering in your ear a lot about this. This is the journey, you know, this is all our higher selves, our master self is kind of whispering in our ear. And that's why we really want to work on this intuition body. We really want to learn on how to unblock the third eye, the sixth chakra, which teaches us how to really hear the guidance from our higher self. And we want to unblock this. We want to unblock the intuition. We want to learn how to hear. Okay? I'm going to go through a lot of my content here, and then I can answer some questions. I'm going to get through some of this content. But I do see a question right now. I don't know how the angels do exist. Well, now I know. Angels do exist. Oh, okay. Is there any other questions before I get into how do we work with these 5 levels here of awakening? How are you? I'm doing great today. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. So if you're finding this live and it's just what you needed, I'm so glad. And I'll be posting the replay, if it works out, on my YouTube channel. So you can take a look there. And I also have in my bio link more about holistic lifestyle makeovers. So you can see that in my bio. All right, so how do we unblock? Well, the interesting thing is I'm a sound healer and I do light language and healing tones with my voice. And the cool thing is, guys, sound from your voice, from voice, can actually help to unblock all these 5 areas of transformation. So as I go into the things that we can do and the things that we have to look at to upgrade our lifestyle, you'll see that sound is in all of them. And the reason that is because sound, when you put an intention into your voice, the sound can go to any frequency. It can go to source frequency when I'm singing light language. It can go into matching an emotion or in training an emotion to a higher frequency emotion. It can go into a thought and belief pattern and match it and kind of release it, or it can entrain. There's 2 things that you can do with sound, and that's entrain or match and cancel it out. So sound can be used in all 5 layers. And that's why you'll see on my profile that I do a lot of sound healing. I do a lot of light language, and I teach a lot of healing tones on my profile. I would say I do that probably at least once a day on my profile. So yeah, be sure to follow, because the light language I find is so helpful to develop inner peace and to sustain that inner peace and that awakening and 5D vibration. All right, so sound all the way here. Okay, so here we go. Ways to unblock and release resistance. Sound, okay. The first one here, the physical body. Let's go into the physical body, because we can feel that, right? The physical body is kind of the last way spirit tries to get your attention. And it's kind of like, it does get our attention, because how many of us hate being uncomfortable in our bodies, right? Yeah, it's doesn't feel good to be uncomfortable in our bodies. And when we're not comfortable in our bodies, a lot of times it's really hard to go deeper into the release from our emotional, mental, spiritual body, right? We really have to get physical health. So to do that, to really look into how do we sustain higher frequencies? How do we sustain joy and inner peace? How do we live in our awakened self in a physical body? We need to decrease toxicity. And that's why I really loved the video I posted yesterday about how to do lymph drainage. And I also did a mini cleanse yesterday. So check that video out. I listed 10 things to do to cleanse daily, okay? But we want to decrease toxicity. That means clean up our air, clean up the food that we eat. Does your food have pesticides? Does it have herbicides? Is it GMO? Like, clean up your food as much as you can. Eat lots more vegetables and fruit, okay? Decrease the animal protein as much as you can. So clean up the toxicity. And there's different ways, as I said, in the videos I've posted, you can see different ways to clean up the toxicity. But a big thing with your physical body is your skin. People don't realize what you put on your skin can either enliven it or toxify it. So what we put on our skin absorbs into our bloodstream and into our organs within 26 seconds. Yeah, so the lotion and the oils and the perfume, a lot of that stuff has toxic chemicals in it. So you want to start cleaning that up. Really notice what you put on your skin, okay, guys? It's really important. Also, when you're in the shower and you have a very hot water and your pores are opening, guess what? It's an open door policy. So like whatever's going into your system with your soap or your shampoo or your wash, right? Like conditioner, make sure that stuff it's clean, it's vegan, there's no chemicals in it. Try for that, okay? Because we want to decrease the toxicity if we are increasing our awakened and ascension vibrations in these bodies, okay? What else we want to do is we want to decrease tension. So tension is created from thoughts, feelings, and emotions that we really haven't processed. So, or we haven't upgraded. So it's tense, and then that tension settles in the body from those thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and creates muscle tension. Okay, so we want to decrease muscle tension, and I love yoga, hatha yoga for this, or Ashtanga yoga, or flow yoga, or any yoga that goes into the physical body and releases tension is really going to help you have this new way of being in your body. Let's see what else. Stress. We want to decrease stress. So physical body, physical existence, anything that creates stress in your life has to go. So we're going to get into the mental, emotional body. A lot of physical stress is created from a belief system that's outdated. That's not working for you anymore. For example, if I grew up with a mother that really needed a clean house, right? So I now have a family, and it's stressful if my house isn't clean and I have to clean and I have to clean it, but I don't have time to clean it. So there's this stress about cleaning. So that's a belief that you can actually go into and upgrade and say, that's not working for me anymore. That's not my priority. That's not even my belief. That's someone else's belief, and I'm going to upgrade that. So when you upgrade that belief, the physical stress is no longer there anymore. Okay, the tension when the house isn't clean. So that's a way how all of these different 5 areas really start to affect each other. It's a systemic thing. It's holistic. So decreasing stress, decreasing toxicity, and decreasing tension. What are you talking about? Hi there. Thanks for joining in. We are talking about holistic lifestyle makeover for people on their awakening journey. And we're going over 5 areas of transformation, 5 areas that you can look at and create new habits that kind of work with where you are on your awakening journey. So on your awakening journey, spiritual journey, we raise our vibration, right? And sometimes we our life that we're living feels kind of outdated. It's not working for us. So right now I'm going over the physical body, things to do, and how we release the blocks and the resistance. So that's what we're talking about right now. And what we're going to do is go into the second area, the energetic body. And what we need to do there is clear the energetic internal pathways. So in yoga therapy, the pathways are called nadis and the sushumna. Yoga also looks at chakras, okay? Chinese medicine looks at energetic pathways as meridians, okay? Acupressure points, okay? Acupuncture points. So we want to go into the internal body and really clear the resistance and the blockages from our energy bodies. A great way and very simple way to do this is watch and tune into your breathing, your breath. All right. An easy way to do it is just see, are you a chest breather? Are you breathing up here in your chest? Is it a shallow chest breathing? That is a sign of tension and stress. Remember, we talked about decreasing tension and stress in the physical body, okay? The breath is going to show you that you're stressed, that your energy body is creating this tension that's turning into a physical tension. So your physical body is an indicator of what's happening with the energetic body. Your breath, your breathing can show you that your energy body is blocked. It needs some attention. All right, so a simple thing to do is just sit for 5 minutes. Start witnessing your inhale and your exhale. Start witnessing what part of your body expands and contracts with your inhale and exhale. And ideally, it's nice to have your lower belly expand with the inhale and contract with the exhale. Okay? We don't want the shoulders to go up and down when we're breathing. You don't want the chest to raise and fall when you're breathing. You really want a lower body expansion with your breath. So take note of the breath, and that will help you understand where you are with your energetic body. The other thing is I posted that video about lymph drainage. That guy, go follow that guy. I did a duet with him. He has tons of information because he's educated in Chinese medicine, which deals with acupuncture points. There's all points on the meridians that you can do just by pushing on, holding for like 15, 30 seconds. That helps to move the energy body. The other thing, as I mentioned earlier when I first started, is that sound. Sound can totally help move and shift energy in your energy body. It help you raise vibration, okay? You can do chakra toning. Chakra toning can help you balance all the chakras, the main chakras of your body. So that's really important to do on a daily basis when you are on your awakening journey and wanting to sustain a higher frequency of peace and joy and live from this kind of creative flow in your life rather than linearity and kind of like a more academic and linear type of way, like this is how you do it type of way. But as you awaken, like that just doesn't work anymore. You have to be more in the flow. So okay, so that's the energy body. And if anyone's interested in having a holistic lifestyle makeover, and you want to have an interview and talk more about this, the link is in my bio for holistic lifestyle makeover for people on their awakening journey. All right, so let's go to 3, the mental and emotional body. This is super important. We want to really practice that law of subtraction here. We want to subtract the trauma, the limiting belief systems, the thought patterns. We really want to go in and take a look at that. We want to go in and kind of get into the subconscious of the mental, emotional areas of our life. Bring them to the conscious level, integrate, heal, and release. So how do we do that? Well, one of the ways is sound healing with your own voice. You can do that with the chakra tones. You can go to a certain emotion. Say you're going through grief. All of a sudden grief is surfacing, okay? And it's really disrupting your life. So you're going to just sit with the grief. And then you're going to ask the question, where is this in my body? If it was represented in my body, where is it? And so maybe it's your heart, your chest. And then you're going to give it a color. You're going to go into your mind's eye and just give it attention and see if it has a color, a shape, a texture, a temperature. See if it has a message or a sound. And then you just let the sound come out of your mouth to benefit this area, this grief. So voice the grief or entrain the grief to something different. And that's how we're present. You act in radical presence with your grief. You give it attention. You give it sound. And all of a sudden, you'll start to feel a shift. That's one way to deal with emotions. Remember I said earlier that your sound and your voice can work with every area of these five points of transformation. Other ways, let's see what I wrote here. Energy work, psychological work, EMDR. EMDR is a wonderful way to work with the mental, emotional body. Brain spotting. Something I'm trained in is called access bars. That's a really potent way to work with the emotional, mental body. Release and reprogram yourself from these negative belief systems. A simple tool you could use right now is just called return to sender. So if you feel into a certain belief system and you're like, where did I get that from? And you get the awareness, oh, my mom used to always say that. And you adopted it, you can say return to sender. You can cut the cord from that belief system, return to sender. Every time that belief system comes up, you say, yeah, no, I don't want that. I don't want that. I'm going to return that to sender. So that's another way to work with old belief systems and emotional patterns. So I've been working with my own process with guilt. My own process with guilt. And when it comes up, I'll be like, there it is. And I'll either ask, how old am I being? I'll ask, is this serving me? I'll ask, who does this belong to? These are all ways that I work with the guilt program that's up now. Thank you for the hearts. So whatever program's up, whether it's guilt or fear or grief, ask these questions. Who does this belong to, really? Where did I get this from? How old am I being? Do I need to upgrade? Things like that. Is it time to cut the cord? So those are some great ways to work with the mental, emotional body, to subtract the density so you can sustain your ascension frequency. So if you're just coming on here, what we're talking about is holistic lifestyle makeover for those of us on the awakening journey. You may notice that, your spiritual practice has brought you to a moment in your life where you just feel like your life isn't working anymore. You feel confused or lost, or there's not clarity. You feel like you want to have more creative flow and more time for practice, yet you are living this kind of linear life. Like, how do you get out of that? How do you change? How do you shift? And the biggest thing is come into severe trust and really let go of the things that aren't working anymore. And that might mean changing jobs, changing people, changing your family, whatever, changing where you live. And that requires a lot of trust. So by subtracting all the density from these 5 areas of transformation, we get to see more trust, more faith, more inner peace. Okay, so let's go to the 4th area here, intuition, our intuitive body, our third eye. When we can open this up and we can really start to listen and hear, okay, from our higher self. Okay, this sounds kind of strange, but all of ourselves are all living at the same time, and there's a part of us who are masters, who have already ascended, and that is your guide. That is your guide, giving you guidance to what's next and how to keep going, and it's rooting you on. And how do we hear that? How do we know what we're hearing? So one of the things that I love to do for this is automatic writing. So after I meditate in the morning, I take my journal, and it's not a pretty journal. I get a lot of these. And I do an automatic writing. And what that is after my meditation, I sit with my higher self. I sit with my source self. And then I just ask for an automatic writing. I ask to hear and write. And I get these messages. And so it's a practice in practicing hearing your intuition, your guidance. Okay. And you also want to be clear on what's guiding you. So if I would say you really want guidance from your highest ascended self, at source. Now, a lot of times when you're meditating or when you're wide open and you're excited about your awakening journey, a lot of different voices can come through. These can be from, well-intended, 4th dimensional, 5th dimensional, higher dimensional beings. It also can be oppositional forces, falling angelics. It can be people that have an agenda. So, this is not to scare you, but I just want you to be aware that you can hear lots of things. And when I say hear, it's not necessarily like in your ear. It's like an aha. Intuition can come like as a little whisper, just a knowingness, a seeing. It can come from all different ways, but mostly in a knowing and an awareness. You want to get clear that the only thing that you are going to be listening to is your higher self at source, sanctioned by you, for you, as you. And then everything else can be quiet. Because they can get in there and they just start. So when thanks for the heart. I hope that really helped, because a few years ago I did not know this, and I was on a wild goose chase with all the guidance I was getting, and it was all contradictory. If you notice that your awareness is contradicting itself, it means that there's another energy in there besides your higher self, and it can be confusing. So before you start listening to intuition or guidance, I really, really would set the intention, like I just said. I'm only hearing my guidance at source, sanctioned by me, for me, as me. Super important. All right, and if you are hearing something that has you in it, most likely that's kind of like an entity. You have to go do this. That is either like an entity or a inner child part of yourself. It's someone talking to you. Like your higher self is you, so it's just going to be like a knowingness. If it's like you have to go do this, that is some kind of other entity, oppositional force, or think something separate from you, and that is not true guidance that I would follow personally. But if it is if you do sense that it's one of your inner child's selves talking to you, you know, ask, who is this? How old are you being? And go into the inner child work, which is a whole nother presentation. But please get clear of your intuition. Okay. All right. So finally, let me see if I got everything. Yoga and sound work also works for increasing your intuition and stuff like that. Okay. So the spiritual body. Again, remember, I don't know if anyone stayed for this whole program, but in the beginning, I said that most people on their awakening ascension journey in the past were only really working their spiritual body. They weren't too interested in anything else but their spiritual body. And now in 2022, we realize that ascension is including the physical body. So that's why modern mystics, we really have to take a look at lifestyle and how to integrate these higher frequencies in a body, because we're no longer, the goal isn't to ascend the body, it's to ascend within the body. And so that's a little different. So old mystics would just go to a cave, ignore every part of themselves except for their spiritual enlightenment. And now as modern mystics, this spiritual enlightenment is very important, but it includes our intuition, our mental, emotional, includes our physical body. So this is important. So how do we cultivate more spiritual nature, right? How do we cultivate the spiritual awakening within the body? And meditation, okay? Sound, light language, bringing in the source frequency through your own voice and let it just give a sound bath through every cell of your body. So meditation. So if you have a hard time sitting still, there's lots of different ways to meditate. I like to go in and just follow my breath, okay? Watch my thoughts, put the thoughts in a bubble, let them float away, okay? Sometimes I go into my meditation just by oming, getting my mind quiet through just doing toning, and then I go into silence. But it's very important to meditate because this basically is the root of all of this. Okay, your spiritual connection is your beingness, is who you are. And when you can know and sense and be aware of that frequency, that filters into all of this, all of the intuition, mental, emotional, energetic, and physical. So you get to, it's almost like a barometer, when you like a comparison, when you're living in that beingness of source spirit self, then when you are being, you know, having negative thoughts or, you know, not listening or, hi there, you can start to see, oh wait, this doesn't feel like my beingness, my source self. When you're in your body and you're feeling contracted and sore and you're like, that doesn't feel like my source self. So you got work to do. Your lifestyle habits have to shift so you can start living this. And when we meditate, that gives us that awareness of that self. And so meditate once, twice, 3 times a day until you know who you are. And then anything that shows up in these 5 areas that doesn't feel like that, it's got to go. So that's the law of subtraction. Subtract the density so that you can raise up in the lightness. So that's kind of what this holistic lifestyle makeover is all about. I do have a few programs. I have an online course that's called Vocal Toning for Manifesting Inner Peace. And I talk about how your own voice can help you raise your vibration and reach your vortex for manifesting. But it's really about going through these areas and using your voice for your own sound healing. And that program's on Teachable. It's really affordable. I think I forget how much it's priced at, but it's really affordable. I had a lot of fun making it. It's in my bio link. And if you're curious about how to really customize a new map for your life with these 5 areas of transformation in your awakening process, I do that. It's a 3-month immersion program. It's holistic. We do a whole holistic lifestyle makeover for you for where you are in your life. So I hope you got something out of this presentation. I have 5 or 10 minutes left. I know I just went over a ton of stuff and talked a lot and talked fast. Is there any questions about living your awakened life? And how do you do that? Like this, just let me know. Let me know. Any questions about awakening, about living your life in going from 3D, 4D to 5D? How do you make it work? Any questions about the physical body? How to heal that alternatively, or how to decrease tension, stress, and toxicity? Any questions about energetics? Chakras, meridians, nadis, the breath? Any questions about intuition? How do you know if it's true guidance? Any questions about vibration, what vibrational alignment is? Any questions about belief systems and emotional habits and childhood trauma? Childhood trauma can come up, has to come up when we are in the awakening journey, because it's the density, it's the law of subtraction. It has to be looked at, has to be released. So childhood trauma is just one of the things that we work through. Now, a lot of times in different types of energy work, childhood trauma, the energy can just be released. It's a lot of, so I know with Reiki, Holy Fire Reiki, childhood trauma issues can be brought up and released. If you do need to see it, it will be brought up from the subconscious to the conscious. And that's when we have to kind of look at it. And ask those questions I said earlier about how old am I being? Is this mine? Is this relevant? And you sit with it. Yeah. Okay. Wow. I just talked really fast. Yeah, but I love talking about this stuff. I went to college for exercise and sports science, and what I really wanted to go to college for was this type of stuff, holistic living and energetics. And I did get a minor in wellness education. And that was kind of at the time in the early 90s, and on the East Coast. That was the only thing I could find, the wellness field around energetics and things like that. So I know a lot about wellness and health and fitness. And then I went into a spiritual journey. I studied the Course in Miracles for a whole year. That was life-changing. Yeah, my whiteboards are written backwards, yeah. I don't know how I've seen whiteboard presentations where it's not written backwards. I don't know how that is. But yeah. Yeah, this was more for me to stay on track. I know you can't read it. I just did like a whole 40-minute presentation. Yeah, so then let's see. After Course in Miracles, then I studied yoga. I went into become a certified yoga teacher. Then I started to go into studying yoga therapy, and then I really got into energetic work, Law of Attraction, Access Consciousness work, Holy Fire Reiki, and so yeah, it's really fun looking at how to up level and upgrade our lives to match our awakening journey. So. And we can do this on our own. We can do this with just our own guidance. And sometimes we need help. So if you need support upgrading your lifestyle in your awakening journey, go to my bio and you can see some links in there. Yeah, I'll put this down. Yeah, I know you can't read it, but I was just kind of for me. But do you know how to get it so that it's not backwards? Just curious. All right, beautiful being. So I think what I'll do is just end with a little light language and send you off on your day. And thank you so much for tuning in. And if you want more light language and more ideas how to support your awakening journey, be sure to follow my profile. I got lots of stuff about that. All right, beauties. Let me see if there's anything that I didn't get to or answer. Okay, not a lot of questions. Okay. All right, beauties. Namaste. How do I